there, comic book fans. It's Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and here I am in the car again, headed down to Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland for a very special signing event. It's only been 3 days since Absolute Batman #1 hit the newsstands. Got to be one of the 2 hottest comic books of the year, in my opinion, right after Ultimate Spider-Man #1. Well, it's like I said, it's 3 days after, and here's Third Eye hosting Scott Snyder and Nick Dargato, the creative team behind that book. And I couldn't be more excited. When I come to New Comic Book Day, I picked up just about every one of the variants, and I'm really excited about coming down today, getting them signed, and possibly actually sending a few of these in super quick to CGC and maybe get a few on the market before it starts flooding, because you know it's going to happen. Like I said, one of the hottest comic books of the year. So stay tuned. Join me as I get down there. I'll do a little bit of filming and get some books signed, and then I'll come back home and then we'll do a little show and tell. So stay tuned and I'll be right back. They're all for both.
Beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and take them.
Yeah.
That way when Nick's ready, we'll hand them to him.
Sounds good.
And yours are very distinguishable.
Sorry, I'm a little OCD about it, Nicole. How you doing?
Good.
Welcome back. It's been what, a few months?
Yeah, it's only been like it was probably June, July.
Okay, yeah, that wasn't that long ago. So
Yeah.
it's awesome that you come back.
I know, it's a pleasure. It's my favorite, really my favorite store. Well, my
Well,
LCS store.
That,
Yeah, I'm in Midtown too. I love Midtown too.
Yep.
Those are my three.
well, I was watching the Whatnot show the other night, so that was awesome.
Yeah, they're great there, Barry.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, congratulations on the book. This is exciting to see everybody excited about the comics and everything.
Oh, thanks, man. That was the goal. Like, we're really glad our book is doing well, and obviously it's like, a thrill, but it's equally thrilling to hear from DC and hear that like a lot of the books got a bump
Yep.
at the same time.
Absolutely.
So that was the goal of the initiative. So.
Was it like this with the new 52? Like when you guys watched that, doing signings?
It was, but it was different because it was just everybody at once with number ones. So it was just such a speculator craze that it was like you didn't know who, and they were all new takes on the characters.
Yeah.
So it was just all over the place. It was more like circus-like,
Right.
Also, I was like totally brand new and terrified, so like it's hard for me to recall. There you go.
Yeah, I appreciate the time.
Always, it's good to see you.
And Trisha's one of the shorties guys.
And I'm working on these guys to try to get Sean Murphy down here at some point
Oh,
too.
believe me, we're not fighting on it. White Knight was one of my that book is so pretty.
Has he not been here before?
No.
Oh, really?
That's right. These are going to be just for you.
Okay.
All right, everybody, I just finished up at Third Eye Comics with the signing with Scott Snyder and Nick Nargato, the creative team behind the new Absolute Batman #1. I got a bunch of the Absolute Batmans signed today. I'm going to go home right now. I'm going to rebag and board everything because if you caught some of the video there, you can see that I had everything window bagged with my typical blue painter's tape when I custom make these windows. So I'm going to take them out of those and I'll put them into fresh bags and boards, and then we'll do a little show and tell. So stay tuned and I'll be right back.
2 hours later.
All right, everybody, I made it back home, and once I got home, I took all the comics that I got signed back out of those window bags that I had created and put all the comics in fresh bags and boards and have them very well protected. Some of these I may end up sending into the CGC, and I'll go over that as well, but I'll go through everything that I got signed at the Third Eye signing event with Scott Snyder and Nick Nargato. I hope I'm saying that right. I was never really familiar with this artist, but I will tell you this. After reading this comic, I really enjoy his artwork. And that is a big plus. Scott Snyder does a really good job with Batman, but this art is really good too. It's a very good comic book, even if it does have some of the woke bullshit in there. Let's race swap Barbara Gordon. Why do we have to do this kind of crap? I don't know. It's virtue signaling at its finest. I hate that kind of crap, but I guess we'll live with it because I did enjoy the action, even though it was a Batman, a Bruce Wayne that looks like he came out of a Rob Liefeld universe. I don't even know how big those arms could be. He looks bigger than the absolute Superman, and that's really crazy just how big he is and how small his head is. It's really weird. It's really weird, like I said, out of a Rob Liefeld universe or something. But nonetheless, I enjoyed this comic book, and I love getting to see Scott Snyder again and getting a bunch of books signed. So let's get right into the comics and show off what I got signed. So first up was cover A, the regular cover by Nick Nargato as well. He did the interiors and the cover to this right here, and you can tell that Scott Snyder signed right over here in silver, and Nick signed right over here. And I ended up getting 4 copies of this signed. Now my plan is I'm actually going to send a couple of these into CGC out of this batch right here, and we'll see if we can get those back anytime soon. I'm not going to fast track it, and that might be a mistake, but this is a little bit of a learning process. I'm jumping on this bandwagon real quick. I know better. This is a lesson that I should not do probably, but we're going to see if this comic book has legs. Getting some of these graded quickly may pay off. We'll see how it goes. But I'm going to send in 2 of those to CGC. Next up was the same cover, but it is the Virgin foil version right here. And you can see Nick's and Scott's signatures in the exact same place. And I ended up picking up 2 copies of that and getting those signed. And one of these will actually go into CGC as well. Next up was the Jim Lee variant, and this is one of my favorites right here. He did the cover to this right here. And you can see they signed down here in the dark lower corner. This is a book I wouldn't mind getting Jim Lee to sign at some point if this book proves out to be as good as what everybody thinks it might be. But that's something to cross down the road at a later time. I am sending this one into CGC. The one I'm not sending in is the foil version. It's the foil version variant of this. And you can see they signed almost in the exact same place, except in 2 different spots slightly. They switched positions. I think this one actually looks really, really good. Next up was this variant cover by Wes Craig and who did the coloring? Mike Spicer. Not my favorite. It's probably my least favorite cover of all of them. But I went ahead. I kind of wanted to get every one of the books that I picked up at the last New Comic Book Day. I wanted to get one of everything signed. I think the only book I didn't pick up was just the logo variant foil cover. The logo is fine, but I'm not really into the books without the artwork. So I pulled back. I didn't get that variant, but I did pick up this variant right there. That looks pretty good. They did sign right down there in the dark. It does pop pretty good. Next up was a copy of this one right here. I'm looking at the name. I'm not familiar with a couple of these artists, so forgive me on that if I stumble. Mitch Gerard? Gerard's. I think I've got that right. But he did the cover there. Nick and Scott signed pretty much similar to the very first book right there on either side. And then I've always talked about Third Eye Comics being a home for New Comic Book Day because of the amount of comics they buy. They get a lot of ratios, and they definitely had some ratios on this. I'm not talking about cover variants. I'm talking about the 1 in 25s. I don't know if they had anything past that, but I did pick up the 1 in 25 right here. This is the E.M. Bertram. Again, I'm not familiar with his art, but and honestly, when I first saw it, I thought it was a Maria Wolf cover, but it's not. Again, this one really highlights how big the body is compared to the very small head right there. It's really, really odd. But I ended up picking up 2 of these, and these were more expensive than all the other ones. But you can see, actually, you can see it right there. They're really great signatures that they sign down here. And one of these is definitely going to go into the CGC. And then last up was the last book I got signed. I ended up getting 12 books altogether signed. I did have other books for both of them, and I pulled back because I'm jumping all in on the new Absolute Batman. So what I didn't get signed was the new all-in special by Scott Snyder. I pulled back mostly because they really wanted to keep everybody to a limit, the VIP group to a limit of 12 books. And I kind of adhered to that. I didn't abuse it. And they were also there handling your books, so they knew exactly what they were giving to the artist. I guess I could have pushed it by adding another book in there, but I didn't get the all-in special signed by Scott Snyder. And I had some other books that Nick had done a little bit of art in that Jason Aaron had actually signed last year. And I really... honestly, he wasn't the main artist in that book, and I decided not to pull back, not to get those books signed. If I see Nick at a future signing, I'll try to get those books signed at some point, but honestly, they weren't that important to me. So I just stuck with all the Absolute Batmans I could get signed. And the last one right here was the store exclusive from Third Eye Comics. This right here. This right here is by Sean Murphy, who did White Knight. And I guess he continues to do it. It's a beautiful book. The different series that he's done with the Joker, with the Batman Beyond, Harley Quinn. I love his artwork. And this is his cover to this right here. As I said, a Third Eye Comics exclusive. Not going to be many out there. They sold out of all of these. I think they only had 200 of these. And at the store, I couldn't pick it up because it hadn't been signed yet, but I did actually order 2 of these signed by the pair, Scott and Nick. I'll probably be able to pick it up in a couple of days. They're going to have to get all that done. After they're done with the signing, I'm sure they were going to go and sign all the comics that were prepaid at some point, so I'll pick those up. But this one right here is going to go into CGC, while the other 2 I may just keep for myself and may keep raw. Maybe we'll send them in if this book proves to be one of the hot sellers on CGC from CGC. We'll see how that is. But all in all, I think I'm going to end up sending in 6 of these books, or half of them, to CGC. And the others I'm going to actually have for available in my eBay store, raw, signed already, just not CGC graded. But that was it, guys. Had a great time meeting them. I really did enjoy talking with Scott Snyder. I didn't really get to talk to Nick. He was so distracted when we were up there. But Scott and I had a decent conversation. You got to see a little bit of that. And I do apologize for that camera work. Again, I'm wearing one of those sticky goose strap-on contraptions. The camera is right there on my chest. So when you see me floating back and forth getting the books, that's me literally taking the books from Scott Snyder, turning to Nick to make sure the books are getting signed and pushed over. So it was really weird. Sometimes I'm not the best YouTuber, but I had a great time, and I saw a lot of guys there that I know that go to these signings in a Third Eye, and I'm becoming friends with, and it's great to talk to them. And there was a big crowd, as you saw from the footage. So it was very popular and very well done by Third Eye Comics. Thumbs up, Third Eye Comics, once again, for just an absolute great signing event, handled very well. So that's it, guys. If you enjoyed this kind of content, definitely hit the like, slap the subscribe, and click on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the shows that I put out each and every week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. And definitely leave me a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of these books. And again, if you're interested in any of this stuff, just reach out to me on YouTube or reach out to me through email at collectorauctions@yahoo.com. You can also see if I've got these books already listed in eBay. I'll definitely list a few of these, and I doubt that I'll list them on Shortbox, but I do sell on Shortbox as well. All those links are down below. Definitely reach out if you're interested. All right, guys, that's it. Enough of the sales pitch. I had a great time today. You guys have a great rest of the day, and remember, every comic has a story.